Hello and welcome to the digital studio of MITS Gwalior. Today I am in conversation with Mr. Utsav Mishra, Senior Manager Swiggy, who has just returned from being a roaring and glorified success at TEDx MITSG, and we are very proud to have you here. Welcome to us.
Thank you so much.
So how does it feel after TEDx? How does it feel? Do you feel any different? Do you feel like a celebrity yet?
No, not at all. I don't think that I can ever feel like a celebrity. But yeah, there's a lot of applause and there is a lot of encouragement which I'm getting from my peers, colleagues, and everywhere.
Absolutely.
So that feels good, and it definitely was a platform where I could reach a lot of people, and it's a well-known platform. So I consider that event as an opportunity to reach out to many people.
Why I use the word celebrity is because I saw personally being there, long row of students standing to take your autograph and then clicking pictures with you. And then I thought, if I meet you later, I'm going to ask you this question. The platform had two people who have been awarded Padma Shri. Then there was obviously Piyush Mishra. There was an Oscar nominated. And then there were you, who was probably using that platform for the first time. Were you even a slightly bit intimidated by your co-speakers? Did it happen?
The thing is that I think you could have saved many words saying that you were the most underachieved there.
No.
But still and I'm completely aligned with that. I feel the same. And when I saw the list of speakers, I actually was intimidated. I thought that I think I am, as you have given me a name there, that I was an aspirer and everybody else has definitely achieved a lot.
Yeah.
But the reason I was not intimidated about the speaking is that I have been doing it for a long time. So I was confident because that is one skill which I have been practicing for a long period of time.
Absolutely.
And there was no question and answer session, so, so that is a good thing about TEDx.
I am very sure that you would have done exceptionally well. Let me tell you, when we sat down and started looking up for speakers, so there were tangential discussions going on. So we obviously wanted somebody with a celebrity factor because that pulls the crowd.
Right.
But we were also looking for somebody from here.
Right.
Somebody from the home ground, somebody who has studied here, somebody who has lived this life and who has gone on to achieve various things, which we'll talk about later.
Right.
So as a student, did you foresee this happening, that you'll come back like this?
I never thought that it will be like this, though I always wanted it to be honest, because when I used to see the alumni coming to college or sometime during these alumni meets and all, I always used to think that sometime I'll come back and address the students and tell them about my experiences.
Right.
But when that happens, you do not realize this. Somebody had to remind me that you used to say this when you were in college. So I did not anticipate it, but I wanted it. Okay. Yes.
I am just going to clarify to the people listening to us that I did not mean underachiever at all. I meant the dark horse who comes to the stage and sparkles, who is not visible in the crowd, but you put him apart from the crowd and he's the one who's going to glitter and shine. So you were that. And because a lot of people actually vetoed for you in the discussion forum, I can tell you that you already had a fan following. Okay. It was just that we wanted to put you there on the platform for the world to see. And I am very happy that we have managed to do that.
Right. Thank you so much.
On a tangential question note then, so I was looking through your profile and I see Amul, I see Bajaj, then I see Travel Yari, and now I see Swiggy. So you have on the one hand multi-million-dollar generating absolutely capitalist forums, right? And then you have these startups. Why the shift?
Not exactly. I did not envisage it like that. But in during my career, I've always been open to opportunities.
Absolutely.
And when that opportunity arises, I never say no, because I believe that you should never have a fear of unknown, and you should try to test the waters in different territories, and that's how you come to know your strengths and the areas of improvement. So I was working for established companies. There was a traditional system. There were things which were good. There was things which were not good. When I got an opportunity in the startup space, I thought, let's give it a try. Then again, I got an opportunity within another startup, which is a much established startup, I'll say. I just went for it. And the kind of, I must say, the kind of skills which were tested in the companies like Amul and Bajaj, and that too in sales, were completely different from what I've been tested here in the last 2-3 years.
So they have been absolutely different from each other, disparate from each other.
Definitely.
So as a student, if I was a student, and I had to pick between two offers, one from an established company and one from a startup which people do not know about. On a personal note, what would you recommend? What would you suggest? Which one?
The thing is that it completely depends upon what are your aspirations.
Okay.
There is no one size fits all kind of an answer. It depends upon what you want to do. Now, what is the kind of role the startup is offering, the kind of role which established company is offering? Do you enjoy coding? Do you enjoy sales? Are you comfortable working in a big organization where the eyes are not on you? Or are you comfortable working in a very small setup where you may have to work on weekends too?
And you take independent decisions also.
Yes, definitely. And the learning is definitely higher in a small company, startup kind of a setting, because you get to do a lot of things. So the resources are scarce, and sometimes you also have to do somebody else's job. So definitely the learning is definitely much more
greater. True.
But it completely depends upon the individual. Some people are not able to adjust.
And they might not like it also.
They might not like it, yes.
But I think startups, they make you multitasker. Because you're doing so many things at the same time, and there is so much which is going to happen. Everything is in the future. And you
hustle is the word I would associate with any startup. So that is the mode energy, you are always in. So you may enjoy it, you may not enjoy it, because if you have a very research oriented kind of a person, you would like to have some established setup where you are given a period of time and you have to deliver results. It's not like an everyday hustle kind of thing.
That's a very smart decision to make. I think you have to figure out who you are first. And on that note, I'm going to ask you something which a lot of people have asked me to ask you. Why psychology? Because I understand that everything starts and ends at self-discovery, that self is the greatest that you can ever discover. But from engineering and then management to psychology to peeping into people's mind, what has been the impetus behind it?
Confusion.
Okay.
The honest answer.
Okay.
See, from it has always been the life has been full of paradoxes and confusion. I would not like to keep that answer for give a very long answer to it. But when I started, as a kid, I wanted to be a bus conductor. When I grew up, many of us wants to be truck drivers.
Yeah.
So what I believe is what I'm trying to say here is that your goals evolve as you evolve. You cannot have a goal in mind when you are 5 years old and try to achieve that. There are people, I'm not saying, those are very lucky and rare people, those who decide to do something. I always wanted to join defense services. I tried thrice. I always got rejected at the last stage. I did not have a backup plan. Then I went for engineering. I did not enjoy coding, so went for MBA. But if coming to your specific question of a psychology, I was always been a counselor. All my friends, family, whenever they are in trouble, they call me. So some of my friends call me after 6 months, and I pick up the phone and I ask what went wrong.
So you know that they're asking.
So it has always been like that.
Like that, yeah.
When I thought that I should add some credential to this informal thing which is going on, and that's when I wanted to explore. That's when I decided to explore psychology. Since I was from a different background, I went for a diploma kind of a thing because I could not have started from a BA psychology thing. But 10 years ago, I would have.
You don't even have that kind of time now.
Exactly.
So, but that's interesting. Has that made you, I don't know, a quieter, calmer person? Learning to counsel people, do you also counsel yourself?
It is the process. It is first you cannot explore the other person until you explore yourself.
Right.
So whenever somebody comes with a problem to you, somebody needs some advice. I should not use advice because when you counsel people, you do not advise.
Yeah.
But when somebody asks some questions to you or somebody comes with a problem, you first try to explore yourself that, oh, this is something where I have also encountered. And then the process goes on and on. So, yeah, I don't know whether it has made me quieter because I'm not sure about it. I'm a people's person. I still am. But yeah, I take out time to explore. I take out time to think about myself.
About defense, just a general quip, but my husband is going to be very happy about it because he is in the army, he's an army officer. So when I show him this, he's going to be very happy that somebody aspired for, the aspirer aspired for it and is back on this platform. The entire ruse of discovery or self-discovery, it has become a market now.
Right.
There are people who claim that they can make you quieter, they can make you a better human being. But when I was looking through your profile, I saw that you mentioned that you are an avid traveler.
Right.
Would you call traveling a kind of education, or would you call it again a process that brings you closer to yourself? As you explore and discover places, you also discover yourself or parts of yourself.
I think it is a mix of both.
Okay.
Because since day one, when I started working in 2011, I've always been traveling for work. So there's always been a lot of travel.
Okay.
And initially the travel was restricted to a state, and then it grew to some other parts of the country. So I think for work, I have, except Northeast, maybe I've traveled to all parts of India. So the first part of it is education. It definitely educates you. It lowers down your boundaries. It tells you that there are other people who have other beliefs, other customs, other traditions, and a very different way of thinking. So it tells you, it also makes you learn. I'll talk like a true salesman. It also makes you learn what works where. So if you are traveling to Punjab, you can be very informal, meet someone over a drink or a lassi and get things done.
Absolutely.
While if you are traveling in South, you have to go prepared with a very data kind of thing. And by this, I'm not stereotyping people in any way.
No, but I get it. It's the methodology.
It's the way people work. It's the way culture is there.
Operate.
The second thing which you said is that about self-exploration. It definitely it definitely helps you to explore yourself because you go to different places, you get a lot of me time, I'll say, and then you think about things which you generally do not get time to think about in your mechanical life, where you just have a schedule to keep. So yes.
Every minute is planned.
Yes.
I personally always thought of traveling as educational because my parents had a policy that they would take us and teach us. So the entire Western Ghat, my father made us travel on a scooty so that we could actually see what was happening inside of being inside a car. So when I was going through your profile, I found it very interesting that people would actually use work experience of traveling for self-evolution, which is no longer happening. I think especially in setup like yours, when you have a 9-to-5 job and you're sitting behind a desk and most conversations are happening over Skype, perhaps the idea of personal growth and self-care sometimes gets brushed over or brushed under the carpet. So it's very nice and it's very refreshing that you would actually use these windows for self-exploration. I hope that people take it away from you and they try to do it in their own time also.
But you were lucky to travel on that scooty, I must say.
I did. I did. They were very strict about all of this. This needs to be done, this needs to be done. That's how you learn. So I'm very thankful that they were interested in traveling. This is a standard question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to ask this, but I have to ask this. So in India, this has become standardized almost. Engineering, management, and then, managerial jobs. You are an electronics engineer who went on to do MBA.
Yes.
And then you are senior manager in Swiggy.
Yes.
Discipline-wise, it's a very strange combination.
Yeah.
How would you justify it?
I'll not justify.
Okay. Don't tell me it pays me and then it gives me a good job. Tell me something else.
I told you. I think I'll be very candid about it. It was all about confusion. I never thought about something else. I always wanted to join the services, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then engineering was a backup plan, so I just took it up. And then the target was to get placed somehow.
Okay.
But then I realized that I do not enjoy coding as much. So what does an engineer do who does not enjoy coding?
Coding, yeah.
He goes for MBA.
Goes for MBA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and when I went for MBA, and in MBA I realized that I do not understand finance.
Okay.
So what do you do when you
Now.
do not understand finance?
Yeah.
So you go for sales and marketing.
Okay.
And that was a good match for a person like me who was a people's person, an outgoing personality, who can talk,
Who likes talking.
likes talking,
Yeah.
good communication skills and
Yeah.
all, can
Yeah.
convince people,
Yeah.
persuade, negotiate, all that thing. So as I told you, you never plan for things. It is the way it happens. You always have some idea. You always try to explore, and it is very important to explore so that you come to know about your strengths and areas of improvement. But how it will shape up is sometimes you do not envisage. You plan, and then it comes out, and then it happens.
So basically, it's okay
To
if
not
your
have a plan.
education. Yeah, to not have a plan, one. And it's okay to not depend on your education either. Because
Yes.
it's just a journey that you make.
Yes.
And then in that journey, you may find something that suits you and you may take it up. But it's okay if you don't find anything at all.
Yes. So
Because
if
eventually you will.
If in Hunter S. Thompson's word, I think he wrote a very influential letter, and I always go back to it, where he says that goals evolve as you evolve as a
you
person. He says that so you do not strive to be a fireman or a banker. You strive to be yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So your goals just keep on changing. And if you are not, if there are 8 paths and you do not want any one of those paths, you must define the ninth path for yourself.
Okay. We must make one.
Yes. Yes.
So some roads that are not taken,
Yeah.
and some roads you actually built for yourself.
Definitely.
Okay. You are also a fitness freak,
Yeah.
to use the millennial word for it.
Yeah.
I would have
know,
called
I
a
would-
health
I would not say
enthusiast.
a freak, yeah.
But
I
health
stay away
is-
from
yeah.
freak. Yeah, I'm a fitness enthusiast, you
Yeah,
can say.
health
Yes.
enthusiast. I
Yes.
think I think it's a word we can all accept. So, how did it come by? I am very lazy, so as a person, I actually want to know. I have
Sure.
never exercised for a day in my life,
Yeah.
so I want to know what propels people into something like this.
So as a kid, I was very outgoing. I am the only reason I used to get scolded because I was good in studies and all was that I used to go out and never come back till the time my mother or my sister goes out and finds me.
Okay.
So that is the way
कि
it
शाम
used
हो
to
गई है,
happen.
घर आ जाओ.
हाँ, exactly. I mean, I used to go at around 4, 5 sometimes, whatever,
Okay.
and did not
Wouldn't
used to
come
come
back.
back around 10, 11, whatever. Then people are searching for me.
Okay.
We did not have mobile phones that time, right?
Uh-huh.
So, but that stopped after a while because the pressure of studies and everything came up. And I always enjoy working out and all those things because lately I realized, looking at some great people and all those things, that I think health is the most important thing. So if you have to summarize your life, I'll say it is HCF, that is health, career and family. And I have added one
In
more
that
thing.
order?
I'll not say in that order.
Okay.
Health, career and family, because it sounds a good acronym, that is why HCF is good. And I've added one more thing, community, to it.
Okay.
So that is something I in health is definitely the most important thing. I never try to compromise on.
Okay.
Because if you are healthy, you will live long and you will live happily. So everything else will
So
stop
your
mattering.
enthusiasm towards health, which domain does it belong to? So I know that there are people who are very particular about what they consume,
Right.
what they eat. So that's one. Then there are people who are absolutely interested into gymming and cycling and sports, etc. like that. I don't understand either of them. And there are a lot of people like me. I'm
Then
going
you
to
have
tell
a simpler choice to make, do anything.
do anything or do nothing of that sort and just have good metabolism perhaps. But if you had to actually pull people from their extremely lazy couch potato like lifestyles, what can be the impetus? Just health. You tell somebody don't smoke because you might have cancer. It doesn't really work like that. Everybody smokes with, people who smoke, they smoke anyway. If you had to use a tone which would shake them out of their absolute comfort zones, let's use this interview to use that tone. What would you bring them back into health domain?
See, I always believe that motivation works for a small time, and then there is another theory and a lot of WhatsApp forwarded message that purpose beats motivation. And then I try to explore a little more to find out where this purpose comes from.
Okay.
And this purpose comes from self-awareness.
Okay.
So if you are aware of yourself, what do you want in life, then you will automatically strive for it. There is no impetus needed. We have lots of examples of people getting bedridden because of not having a very good health and all those things.
True.
We keep seeing these things in our friends, families.
Every day.
What other impetus
do you need? Do you need? True. This is a lesson to myself as much as to the audience who's listening. I will just ask you one last question and we'll conclude this absolutely interesting session that I had with you today. You are back in your old college. I'm going to ask you to take a trip down nostalgia lane and tell me the fondest memory that you took from this place.
There are a lot of fond memories.
Okay.
Because if I have to rate my time, because generally what people say that actually when I talk to my father, he says that childhood was his best time. When he was in school, he used to play around and all these things. If I have to look down whatever years I have spent on this planet, I will say that those 4 years were the best.
Okay.
So the time I spent in MITS was the best time. And the fondest memory, if I have to say that, I met a girl who is my wife now in this campus.
Okay.
So
that's
what
very
else?
Sweet.
So
what more can
you ask for? So I have been with her for last 14 years. So
that's wonderful. 14 years. That's a very long time.
Yeah, I am old. Doesn't look like it.
No, absolutely. So health is wealth, to use that very old cliche.
Yeah.
He's been married for 14 years, so...
Not married, but yeah, I met her 14 years
ago.
For
14 years,
so
okay.
Yeah, guys. A little correction there.
No, okay. Thank you so much for your time. I had with me Mr. Utsav Mishra, who once upon a time wanted to become a bus conductor because of the sheer amount of coins that they had. But today he is senior manager at Swiggy. He was one of our most cherished speakers at TEDx MITS, and I'm very glad that I had a chance to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.